Hello, everyone. Welcome. We have two-year flipper. We're going to talk a little bonds here, guys. Let's rock and roll. What do you got, Flip?
How you guys doing today? You know what? It's been very active. The short end, actually across the fixed income board, huge open interest. Adding not as much on the long end. It's the ultras, whatever I call them, the 50s. Their open interest is well below where we were last roll. Heading into the roll, let me think here now. The 30 years, they just started adding. The last 2 days, they probably jumped their open interest a good 35, 40,000 contracts. So they're sitting nice at about 840 to 850 probably now. That's a decent number for the 30s for the Treasury roll. The 2 years, I don't think I've ever seen them this high. We're north of 135. I'll get into it today. I actually thought we were going to add 30, 40,000 open interest again today, but there came a huge seller in the end, and I'll get to who that was. The 10 years is going to cross 3 million probably before the Treasury roll. Doubt it. It will happen soon, but they've been over 3 million before. And the 5 years, they have a nice number. I want to say they're around 2.3. I might be shortchanging them some. I refused after the last roll. I decided not to even really pay attention to the 5-year open interest. I use it to trade. That's about it. I'm not going to be active in that roll this time around.
Okay.
As far as today, huge buyer this morning in the 2-year. I put it out, easily bought 30 to 35,000 north of. There's a huge timer on the screen. Going in 500 or 900 lots. I mean, he was buying size. Huge buyer in the pit. I actually got caught up in it today. I started selling at 29 in the orders. Now, I wasn't bad there, but then when the 30s went bad, I actually got run on those. Then 30 quarters went, and at that time I was all in on the trade. I mean, I had no choice. I was bad. I was fighting a losing position there. I held that trade for a good hour before we went all the way back down, and I thought I was lucky. I covered a lot of 30, and I put it out.
Whoop. Sorry about that. Sorry about
okay.
that. I turned the other computer on to monitor it. So.
And then what happened? So the 9 in the, and then we went back 9 in the order sellers, and I was happy. I turned the whole trade, and I ended up green out of it. And I'm like, that's not a bad turnaround. And we just kept selling and selling and selling. We're on our lows right now. I think we just went 9 sellers. Well, in the afternoon, so there was this huge buyer all day. Well, in the afternoon, gigantic seller came in. This guy was on, he wasn't timed, but he was doing anywhere from 46 lots to 300 lots, anywhere between 45 seconds and a minute 30. And he was just pounding the bid, pounding the bid, pounding the bid. Well, that's the guy. I said a couple weeks ago, last time I was on, I said, there's been a huge buyer in the 2-year. This is this guy unloading his position. Yeah, I mean, because you can tell, and this guy's making a mint, and what he's doing is today not as much, but on the way up he was paying locals. Like locals were just getting paid left and right. If you were willing to sell it, if you were willing to provide him the liquidity, you were going to get paid from it. And it's more 50-50 this time. I mean, there's a lot of scratching going on, and dangerous given where the euro dollars and cash was very weak today. We could never really get the cash to pop. So it wasn't as much of a payday today, but locals didn't lose on the trade today. It was a scratch to a winner. So you'll always take that. So I mean, and rightfully so, I want this guy to make a killing on this trade. I hope he makes north of 15, 20 million on this trade.
Wow.
And and rightfully so. He's giving, he's letting us profit off him. He better make a mint on it.
Right. How practically speaking, how does he do that? How does he route that through the locals rather than just?
Well, we're the guys. I mean. Yeah, and somebody said something about the algo. When they're, the 2 years have timers, and you'll watch the 2-year go from like 20,000 on the offer to 150,000 on the offer, and people will say, well, That's kind of BS. You're stealing from the people who are top of the line, and those are the people who don't understand how the algo works. You're not stealing from the top of the line. You're stealing what the float is. You're not stealing anything else. And you know what? I don't hear anyone say anything when the locals, we're the guys that get caught when, all of a sudden they sell 60,000 contracts and it goes down 2 ticks, and you see locals get run on 5,000 stuff. I don't hear anyone complaining about that, like we didn't provide liquidity. I mean, it works both ways, and it is what it is. I mean, it's a game. I've tried to shy away from the game lately. I've gone back to just pure scalping. But, I mean, it's hard. The treasury roll's coming up, so, I mean, you'll up your ante. But I will not be participating in the 5-year this roll. I might do the 10s. It's just a game. It's a game that isn't right for locals. You're going to get killed. Not saying I won't trade the 5-year spread. I will be trading the 5-year spread, but I'll be like, hey, I think I like the spread up here. I'm going to sell 200.
Okay.
And I'll carry them.
Now,
I'll try to work out.
Now, I had a question I've been basically holding, I think, for almost three weeks now, where you said that you had kind of, I don't know, like just a new view came into play for you in terms of your trading, and I just like to explore that because you threw it out as a point, and I know that really within a 2-week period, both before and after that, I mean, you were just killing it. But I'm interested in just hearing, like, kind of what your new view was and why you
I took away the majority of my size to where I can only put on X amount of contracts. So it forces me to spin more contracts, trying to get the edge, and it takes away from that timer game. Like when these guys are doing these timed orders and you see it jumping up and down. I refuse to participate in that. You still pay attention to them, and there are times you do it, but I'm not doing it nearly as much as I used to, and I'm seeing the market more clear, but it's been frustrating lately it's been very frustrating in the last couple of days, because when we're catching turns, they're not paying you. Like you're catching turns and then you're watching the 5-year, so your only option is to put the spread on, the 2-5 spread on, and that gets dangerous in itself, because the 5s tend to, the 5s might make you pay, like really screw you, because they'll move 5 ticks and the 2-years are just sitting there on that same quarter tick, and if you're the wrong way, you turned a trade you have a free look on, if you have the edge, to a trade you're taking a loss on. So that's hard. Today the 5-years actually bailed me out when I was caught. When I was caught bad today, I was able to buy a bunch of 5-years, and the 5-years were running up. So I made on the 5-years. By the time I bought the 9.7s, I was up in the 2-years. But when I was buying 30s, I was still down in the 2-years. But my money was all in the 5-year.
Okay.
On the trade.
Good. Well, by the way, just a quick little step to the family situation. How's the new house coming?
Not good.
Oh boy. All right, next subject. Anyway, we're on the cusp of football season here. I know in my house I'm excited. My sons are excited. Looking forward to it. I know you have limited time today, so I want to kind of give you every avenue you can to hit the subject you want to hit.
Yeah, I mean, just as far as I think every trader saw what happened today. I talked to a few traders, specifically about the 2-year, and we were talking, and it's hard when you get caught up in the move. We're hard on each other. You always want to say, when you're caught with size down at 9 in the orders and 30, and then 30 in the quarters trade out. I mean, look, it's not a way I really like to trade. I didn't manage my risk very well today. I was just watching today when I kept watching the size click in, I'm like, eventually this guy is going to run out of bullets. I know, and when you try to fade a move like that, you better make sure you pick a tick off the high you know, otherwise you're going to get chased out. And I almost got chased out today. You know, my out was 30.5 today. And was it 30.5 or 30? No. 30.5's traded in the pit, and that made me livid because they rifled off 1,000 lot. And I was talking to another trader at the time, another 2-year trader, and I was like, of course they get a layup in the pit. And, you know, and I didn't care about that. I cared that they didn't execute it on the screen as well.
Right.
Like, you know, doing both. I mean, you were doing them both the whole way up, and, you know, the high tick. And that's fine. You know, those guys make money. I don't have a problem with the guys making money in the pit. I had a problem with them not executing the trade on the screen, too, because when you're already screwed from 30, what's the difference if you're adding another 50 or 100 contracts? You know, you know, your bed's already made. You know, whether you toss another 1,500 onto the pot really doesn't matter.
Indeed. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. You know, I think, you know, just in general, you know, I know that the Treasury, everybody keeps waiting for it to fail, but it doesn't seem to want to. You know, or just the Treasury complex in general.
No, it hasn't. And you know, the stocks have actually rebounded. You know, I'm still short. I did stop myself out on one of my shorts from 17,000. You know, I bought it in at 495, so I took 505 points on that one lot. Because you know, you can't have that many. You know, when I think the night, what was it? The missiles, the Iraq thing, whatever happened. That was Thursday night. I think the stocks we were touching, like, I want to say we were trading right around 16,250, because I remember I was like within 250 points of my out. Right. Because my out was 16,000. I'm like, wow, I'm right here. But you know, you got to put. It's stupid, you know. I still think we might ultimately go down, but obviously the stocks have a nice pop to them right now. They're very strong. There's no reason to challenge it, and I don't want to, you know, it's not worth me messing around for. It's not what I'm going to make my money on. Me throwing, you know, 2 lot out there in the Dow and making money. Right. I mean, I don't scalp it. It's just it's a fun position to do. But you know, I stopped myself out on one of them. My other stop's like 745. I have it in with the desk, and I don't even worry about it. So that's kind of more of a free roll. But you know, I figure if I get that, and then I'll take out 750 points, you know, on the trade, and you know, that's whatever, $3,500,
yeah,
4,000, something like that. I don't know, 3,750.
Kick in the ass.
Yeah, it'd be, you know what, and you know, for my career, and I pretty much been honest about this. There's no way I'm not down in the equities, you know, the Dow, S&P combined. So you know, I want to live my glory. You know, I don't get many glory trades in the equity, so you know, allow me to float a little on this one. Like,
absolutely, as well.
It doesn't happen often.
I tell you, I have a brother, as I've told you before, is an ex-CME trader of the mini S&Ps, and he sold out his seat and his position a long time ago, but still trades, and he's just banging his head against the wall at this point. I mean, nothing's stopping it. I don't know if you know it. It happened since you got home, but Russia has actually invaded Ukraine, brought troops into it, and so, you know.
Wait, that happened today?
It happened today. It happened this afternoon. Yeah, you know, he had initially Russia had repurposed or repainted all their military gear white, and you know, put like, you know, covered them up and stuff. Ukraine pushed against that, said they weren't going to allow them in. They've apparently come in, and that is because the separatists in eastern Ukraine are basically surrounded now. I mean, so it's either put up or shut up for Putin.
You know, I mean, because I'm looking at I have the market right now. The 2-year and the euro dollars right now are very weak in comparison to the 5-year. 5-year is well off its highs. And it was actually weird the other night. I want to say it was Tuesday. I mean, every local was short. There was a huge buyer at the end of the day, and we were short, and the 10 years just kept selling and selling and selling. Like, the 10 years just wouldn't stop. And, I mean, we couldn't, like, they wouldn't sell the 2-year. It was one of those trades that just baffled me why we didn't sell them. And, you know, they ended up being a big winner overnight. But, you know, I, I rationalize everything out. Like, there's a certain number I'll hold overnight. I don't like holding more than 100 of anything.
Right.
You know, in the 2-year, I make exceptions, but for the most part, you know, I'll hold 100. But, you know, once I get above, like, you know, I was short a little too. I was out of my comfort zone in what I was short on the day, and I covered on the bell. They held on the 5 o'clock open, and it was, I mean, it was like an hour into the trade, you know, where they pounded them at like 6 p.m. And I was like, yeah.
Well, you know, Flipper, you raised an excellent point, I think, though, in terms of, you know, you have to trade around a comfort level. And that's the same for everyone. And I think a lot of new traders or semi-new traders don't understand that. And they you know, they're convinced of their position and stuff. I mean, I've been convinced so many times and just been dead-ass wrong. Dump it, you know, be disciplined, and walk away, right?
Yeah, and you know what? It was a scratch. It wasn't like I was leaving money on the table. You know, things get in the life gets in the way. You know, I mean, I do stuff with my kids. I do stuff. You know, this stuff happens, and I don't want the market to control my life. And it controls my life a lot. But I mean, you know, there are just some days I don't want to watch the market, even though I know I'm probably right, and if I stay up, I could probably manage and get out of it. But, you know, what's it worth? It's not, you know, making an extra 100 ticks isn't worth, you know, doing an afternoon, you know, watching my kids play sports or, you know, whatever.
Right.
It's just not worth it. I mean, you know, and it's a lot of money. I mean, but, you know, your family trumps, your family trumps it. That's why I start early. You know, I start trading at 5:30, and, you know, I shut it down by 2:15 usually. And I miss a lot of trade. You know, my brother will stay till 4. I mean, he makes a nice amount of money from 2 to 4, but, you know, I hit the mornings earlier. Sometimes the mornings are good. Sometimes, you know, a few months ago, the morning was the trade. You know, like from 5:30 to 7 was just, you know, bonanzas. You can make a killing, and then, you know, it was slowing down during the day. But, you know, right now, the 2 to 4 trade's a phenomenal trade. I just, you know, the only time I break the rule and trade from that time is treasury rules, you know, where I'll go 5 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. A lot of traders do that. Guys I talk to, I'm lucky enough. I met a lot of great guys off Twitter and just other ones I've talked to, and you know, we talk. You know, it's nice getting different perspectives. You know, so some guys are, you know, they give you a better long-term outlook on you know, trading. You know, better than I am. Like I said, I want to take advantage of whatever I can take advantage of. Quarter tick here, quarter tick there. I'll nickel and dime my way up.
Now, a couple questions just before we get out of here, because I know you do have to run here in a minute or two.
Shoot.
But just just like maybe your view as tomorrow looks, and then just maybe you could just briefly discuss what you see coming up in the roll.
The roll, yeah. You know, the roll, I don't think the buyer's done in the 2-year. I don't think the buying's done in the market in general, in the fixed income. I think we're getting there, but now 30.5 is a long way off. I don't know if we have any major economic numbers out tomorrow.
I don't
what is it? I don't even know what the date. Do we have PPI and CPI still this month?
No, tomorrow's the 15th. I thought we were quiet, but you know, honestly, I actually played golf today, so.
Yeah, like I said, I don't pay attention to that stuff. I mean, it's meaningless to me other when the numbers come out.
Okay.
You know, I know when the stuff comes out, so I guess I could see us. I don't think the buyer is done in the 2-year specifically. I don't think he's done. Now, whether we can rally back up to, you know, we got up to 30.5 today. That's a pretty wicked sell-off in the 2-year today. You know, I commented a while ago. I liked the short in the 2-year spread from that 12.5. I was short 12 to 12.5, but you know, I held that trade up to 13.25, and I was still short the spread. I'm still short the spread. It's not enough to bother with, but it's, you know, enough to keep me interested in the market.
Right.
I don't think we're going to get back up there in the 2-year spread. I don't think we'll broach that 13.5 level. I think that's where we were short from. I'll have to bring it up and see where we're. Let me see, where are we trading now? I think we trade 10.5. Yeah, 10.5's traded out today. Yeah, that's right. I mean, it got up to 13.25, 13.5, and I ran out of bullets on the spread. I wasn't just going to keep selling to sell just because I thought it was going down. I didn't see anything, and the problem with trading this, I do see what's going to transpire on this roll, and I've talked about it with my brother and another trader, where I think the real money is going to be on the roll. I don't think it's going to be in the treasure. I don't think it's going to be in the calendars. The calendars have just become a very dangerous trade right now, if you want to play the overquoting game. I think it's just dangerous. I don't think the majority of regular traders do that. I think it's guys on the floor and whatnot, but I think it's going to be very dangerous. And I was on after I got tagged, whatever day I got tagged on. I came on. I told I was pretty honest about it. What I got hit on the 5-year spread last roll. That takes a beating. It gives you a beating, and I just don't want to do that again. I mean, I kill it. I killed it in the 2-year roll last time, and what I did in the 5-year, wiped it out. So it was like I worked for free that week, or I didn't even work.
Right.
Which is even those are the weeks that I'm able to provide for everything I do in life. Right. For those weeks. So it is what it is. But I won't get caught again like that.
Fair enough.
So, and then I'll tell other people. The TED spread is a phenomenal trade right now. I'm not great at the Eurodollar portion of it, but there's some smart guys that do the TED spread out there. You should pay attention to them because it's a great trade right now.
Excellent. Well, that's great insight. I don't want to keep you because you.
The kids are screaming. I got to take them. I got to take them a couple places.
Adios. Thank you for joining us, Flipping Bonds, guys. See you soon.
See ya.